and you
I'm
can't.
not touching their stuff.
And
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
Okay, then we're off and running with our experts.
During
I've
the
been having a wood
C-word
shortage.
process, well, that can happen as you get older in life. Come on, man. This is a joke.
Well, you put cologne on your butt?
Well,
So in order to play, you have to wear jorts.
I don't have George. I could probably wear a Speedo now.
Want to do that? No, you probably could.
He'll be over here tomorrow digging out a big-ass bush.
Sonny and share, like and share, whatever.
Yeah.
Just something and share. Yes, hello. Hey, it's another edition, Gamble and Finn's Larger Than Live, Season 2, Episode 9. Am I right? 9. That's
9,
it.
okay.
Well done. Well played.
So we've completed a 9-inning game.
There you go.
There you have it. I'm Gamble. He's Finn. We appreciate you checking us out. On this is a big day, right? This is National Championship night. Still got a game ahead. But before we get to that, we got to look back. Opening weekend of the Redlegs. And for us, opening day down at the Moorline Lager House, the opening day party, if you will. And we had quite the lot of folks stop by.
Well, right. And if you think about it, normally those two events would be today.
You're right.
Past,
it would be
it
right.
was opening day and then the NCAA finals. And it's just like, whew, that was always a beatdown. Now, that Thursday for Reds opening day was a bit of a personal beatdown for your boys here because we went home, we chilled out, ate some pizza, and then we went and we carried the water on 700 WLW. But in order to start the season right, you had to start it in the right place. Moorline Lager House was that place. And I'll tell you, you're right, the guest list.
Well,
and here's the most impressive thing about the guest list. Everybody showed up.
No,
in fact,
they did.
We even had a bonus guest.
We did.
Who we weren't sure was going to make it.
Well,
and everyone was on time or early.
No, which is staggering. I mean, especially when you factor in opening day, and you know there were a lot of people out at the banks, and there were plenty of people at the Moorline Lager House. Personally distanced. It was all good. So let me run through and let's say thanks, and I'll do them by category, if you will.
All right.
From the Reds, we had Karen Forgas and Charlie Frank, who's with the Reds Community Fund, talking about opening day and kind of what it means to have baseball back. We had comedian Josh Sneed, who was down there with Cincy shirts, still waiting for that Reds beanie for opening day, but now it's getting warmer, yes?
Well, and I think, too, but he was also a good guest to have as part of the how we look at it. You know, since we couldn't have Marty, we had a guy that was there. There was a big part of that movie about Marty, and so it was good to have him there with his perspective on it. The funny thing is, every time we have Josh on, we say local comedian Josh Sneed, and then we never have him do any of his comedian stuff.
We don't. We're not big on that. We're not big on comedy
doing
bits.
Your act.
Right? Yeah. No. And this is not an act. Believe me.
Yeah.
We had plenty of television folks. Let me see if I can get it right. I'll go in order of the stations. We had Mike and Cherie. Mike Dardis, who's a regular guest every Thursday of ours, 10:20 on the Reality Check Thursday nights with his wife Cherie. They're the anchors of News 5. We had the lonesome one, George Vogel, who's our weekly last call at 11:50. They stopped by. We had Joe and Jeremy, Joe Danneman, Jeremy Rao, the Fox 19 sports guys. Always great and a lot of fun to catch up with them. And we had the ever optimistic Doc, who just loves opening day. I love Doc. He literally came and said, basically, this was, the day that he lows, if you will. And he gave his reasons, but Paul Doherty from Cincinnati.com, the Enquirer, and I texted back and forth with him, thought he might show, but he did. Somebody get the phone, please. Somebody answer the phone, please.
Somebody go back to 1986 and get the house phone.
The house phone. Those I was going to say we get about 3 calls a week on it. I don't. Well, but it's,
as you get hang on. I think you're getting a fax.
We might. We might. It'll kick over to fax at some point. But this is how dumb it is. It's less. It's more. It's you have to keep it for a lower price.
And the best part is,
right? Yes.
No one even heard it. I was just looking around. I'm like, I was
they did.
hearing
but that's
voices.
Okay. Mr. Perfect Stop. I was texting back and forth with Tom Browning, who's a great dude.
Great guy.
And all of a sudden, I look over at a little table there, and I'm like, hey, that's Browning.
Yeah.
And he was always and people are getting his autograph, and he's such an endearing dude. He's just a fun guy to talk baseball with, to talk about, his days of playing, and even to talk about the Reds today.
Well, and he was one of the first people to show up, and he kind of looked up at us while we were on, and he had the mask on, and I'm like, that guy looks familiar, but his look has changed significantly over the years. But then he went over and sat at our little kind of our guest table, got a menu, ordered some food, and our server, Stephanie, came up, and she said, who's that gentleman over there? And I said, well, you won't believe it. But, and I told her next thing I know, she's over there with her pad getting an autograph because she's like, he's somebody. And I thought that was interesting.
Well, but he does. You wouldn't recognize. I mean, he had a hat on. He's grown a little bit of a beard.
Yeah.
From what he once had, and of course, we had. Speaking of beer. Not beard, beer.
Yes.
We had the beer baron, Greg Hardman, who, of course, is Mr. Christian Moorline and now with the Lager House. And thoroughly enjoying. Greg really made it possible for us to be down there and always we enjoy talking beer. And I got to be honest with you, we were good. I mean, knowing that we had the evening shift, that's about as good because I'm telling you, those Barbarosas were going down
way too easy.
Way too easy, which has been a problem of mine through the years. But nonetheless, and then the worst part, so an awesome getting ready for opening day, and then the game started. But this is so funny. So I literally had to walk down in the garage to my car. And I told you I'll be right back. I was gone minutes. And I come back, and you say to me, it's already 6-0 Cardinals. And, of course, I'm like, really?
No
okay,
way.
you're going to play that game on me? And you're like, no, look. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
18 pitches, 1 out, 6 runs.
Not good.
And it was just, honestly, the rest of the series we'll get to. Of course, you had the Saturday night. You had the little, if you will, the little back and forth. And yesterday they just pounded the Cardinals. Reds scored a ton of runs. Reds took 2 or 3. And which is great. And the only negative was opening day.
Opening day. But you know what? Again, get that out of your system. Good to go. The Castellanos thing got the whole city fired up. I mean, I think it got all of Major League Baseball fired up. I saw people commenting on that all over the place. Plus, I have now become friends on Twitter with Nick Castellanos' mother.
Yeah, I'm sure she's really enamored with that. But did you hear his comments after the game?
Hi, Mom.
Did you hear? Yeah, because you find her somewhat attractive. It's really kind of pitiful here. But did you?
I think I'm older than she is.
Well, I tell you, she doesn't look so old. But he's probably in his mid-20s.
20s, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think I'm older than her.
Did you hear his comments after the game?
Yes, I did. Good
about
for him.
Melina?
Good for him.
Did you hear what he said about how if he would punch me and basically knock me out, I'd still ask him for his jersey?
Yeah, right.
But you're right. It's kind of funny. It's that kind of that mentality. And the best line of everything that he said was, I'm tired of losing. Essentially, my entire career, I've been on losing teams, and I'm tired of it. And I don't know. You can argue the merits of the silliness of that stuff. Did you see Trevor Bauer's text? Or I mean, tweet, text, quote, tweet. You get it. Tweet.
Fax?
He tweeted
Was it a
after.
fax?
It could have been a fax. Well, it got he tweeted it, and then it went over to facsimile.
Okay.
I think is the real word. Remember the facsimile machine?
Yes, I do.
So he said, I wish Major League Baseball was more like hockey, where every 4 or 5 nights we'd have a brawl.
Yeah.
And I'm close to exactly what he said, but obviously, he's not that far removed from the Reds, and he saw what happened.
He loves that fire. I mean, he's the guy that he's doing the walk and the whole thing, and I mean that. And then what did Castellanos said that? What they said? What did you say to him when you were towering over him? And he said something about "F it, let's go" or something like that. And I'm like, good for you, man. A little fire in the belly.
Well, and there's that. I mean, that's the part of it. Of course, the Reds fans just loathe Molina, right?
Yeah.
From a previous, back and forth. And then it was, I know Hicks was all wound in the bullpen for the Cardinals, and it is what it is. But I tell you what, to the Reds' credit, after opening day, they backed it up. And we talked, Fred, about this Reds offense last year was supposed to be so good and was really so not good. But boy, they're off to a good start. And I still worry about the pitching. I mean, the guy they started, Hoffman, I mean, they're injured. I mean, that's the issue right now. But, they got the Pirates in town for 3, inclusive of right now. And then Tuesday and Wednesday day, weather's going to be gorgeous.
The good news is if things all start clicking and then somehow meet in the middle at the right time, and that's been the problem. I mean, you look at last year. They said that team ended up looking like it was built for 162. Well, you didn't get 162. So you got to get everybody on the same page and clicking and somewhat healthy at the same time to make that run. And the teams that make those runs are the ones that have figured out how to do that. We have not done that.
The other piece to the puzzle is this division's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, most people expect the Cardinals to be the elite of the division. Well, I got to tell you,
womp, womp.
They suck. They went out and got Nolan Arenado, who's an outstanding player, to add to Paul Goldschmidt. Beyond that, they got a pack of clowns. I think the Reds, if they can stay healthy, and you already saw on opening day, Nick Senzel, now he's back, which is good. They have to stay healthy.
It's interesting you mentioned that about the Cardinals because now that explains opening day when they did the lineup and they brought that little car out and they all got out of it.
Yeah, well, the clown car was that? Yes. Shoot, man. I mean, well, I'm still working on the facsimile machine,
Right,
so
okay.
it's
all right. So that was
Yes.
opening day. Things seem
It
to
was.
be, heading in
Yep.
the right direction. But I'm telling you something. Over the weekend, the basketball that we saw as we get ready for the game that'll be on here in just a little while. Boy, I felt for Mick. But to go from the first four to the final four,
Well, right.
get to where they were, he even said it in the post game interview. He goes, I told those guys they couldn't have given me anything more than they did.
Yeah.
To be where we were was fantastic. And I think you're right. He's going to be missing a couple of pieces next year that he had this year. But
well, one
that
is
had to
Johnny
be-
Jusac, who was outstanding, who really, and I thought a couple commentators said that that was his NBA game.
Yeah,
like
it
if
was.
you're watching that dude can play at the next level. But I got to tell you, UCLA, you're right. I mean, and remember, he does not have a senior.
Yeah.
So if he gets the multitude of those guys back, assuming that'll help recruiting as well.
Well, and I have to agree with Barkley. I think that might be the best college basketball game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, it's just, and I was like I was in the hotel room just on the edge of my seat going, oh no, they're down by 5.
Yeah.
They're not, it's going to get away from them right here. And then boom, boom, boom. If somebody needed to drop a 3, somebody needed to fade out the juice from the lane, whatever it was just there. And as soon as he made that layup at the end, and the clock stopped, when the ball after the play, after the make, and I'm like, oh God, there's no way this can happen again. And when he went up with that shot, they even said, few even said he knew he was going to make it as soon as he shot it.
Well, Jay Billis said, they asked him same thing that what Barkley commented on. He said it was the best game since the UK Duke, the infamous. Think of how long ago that is. Think about that. But I love the greatest line from Billis was, they had him, he was on ESPN Sports Center the next morning or whatever, and they asked him, they said, so do you subscribe to the theory of he planned it to bank it in, he had it all the way, or it was luck? And his response was, who cares? It was such a great shot and such a great moment, and that was an unbelievable finish.
Well, and Suggs talked about it. He goes, before practice, we're always practicing those. We're throwing those up to see what we can do. And I had to laugh because when it went in, they show him, and he turns around to Mick like, I'm sorry, kind of like,
well, and Suggs, for those who don't know, he's a freshman, and he was the football and basketball high school players of the year last year in the state of Minnesota. So how about that? I mean, that's pretty good. I think he's an athlete. Do you love his table jump? He said he's always wanted to do that since seeing a couple dudes in the NBA. I think one he mentioned was Dwayne Wade and somebody else.
I got to be honest with you. Every time I see that happen, I'm like, oh, my God, what if there's a tablecloth on there? Whoop! And they just plant, do a back plant. But, good for him. Now, you did mention one other thing. You did mention the UK, that Duke game with Christian Laettner,
right, yeah.
Who called that game?
I want to say that was Vern Lundquist.
That was Marty Brenneman.
Was it really?
He had Laettner's call. And I learned that, and we've come full circle.
Look at that.
Back around to how we looking.
Yeah, how about that? Well, I mean, if you're looking at us right now, you know the answer to that.
That's my Trevor
good.
Bauer walk-off.
Not good. Thank you. I'm sure he really appreciates that.
Sorry, bud.
Now, but here, the good news for Gonzaga is that was awesome. The bad news is that was only the semifinal.
Right.
I mean, and I got to tell you, Baylor, they're good. I mean, these two teams. They were supposed to play during the regular season. That was canceled because of COVID. They've been the best all year, period, end of story. Now, I will tell you, I'm rooting for Gonzaga, only because I think that I really like Mark Few. They've been there. If you remember the last time they made it to the final, they lost to, I want to say, North Carolina.
I don't know.
But he's been there, and to me, to finish 32-0 would just be incredible.
Well,
in today's day and age, incredible.
But I would also tell you, too, that I kind of felt like even listening to the call the other night that Nance and all those guys were so enamored of the idea of this undefeated season. And
I think they are.
It was too much. It was just too much for me. And I was like, come on, let's even this out, this talk out a little bit. And you know me from the beginning of after the first round, I said, Baylor looks pretty hard to beat. Glad that they're there. I think they're very fast. They were talking about the matchups.
No, they're good.
This will be easier, not an easier game, but better matchups for Gonzaga than. And that's Barkley and those guys talking, not me. I don't know anything.
Maybe it could be, but Butler and Mitchell, and don't forget there's a Cincinnati connection. Maceo Teague, who played at Walnut Hills, is a starter for Baylor at double-figure score. I don't know. I just ask, and they're young, and I don't want to hear, they're going to be tired and they're worn out. Look, I just wonder, there are two schools of thought. One is, that was our test, now we roll. The second one is, man, we can't recover from that.
That was a 15-round slugfest.
That's what I mean. I mean, I know it's only 2 days later, but still.
Well, and you mentioned, part of what it is that draws you to Gonzaga is a lack of respect maybe for the Baylor coach. Part of what's drawing me further to Baylor isn't that I just kind of picked them at the beginning, but also I have had just about enough of Drew Timme. I am sick of the stash. I'm sick of this.
Well, you loved it a week ago.
No, I didn't.
You
I didn't like it then. No, I did not.
I don't have an issue with it.
I did not.
I don't have any issue
There's something
with
about him that and the guy he's given as many pivot feet as he'd like.
Well, but
he traveled in the lane on almost all of those turns to the basket.
That sounds like a guy.
Go back and watch. He moved his pivot foot almost every time.
Here's what I can tell you. I love a guy. I don't have a problem with that attitude if you back it up. And that guy backs it up.
The only way he was able to back it up is they let him travel. That was the problem. I felt like he was getting away with it and then, tough guying it out. I don't know.
Can I give, as they say in the business, a shout out to somebody?
Good Lord. Okay.
Can I give a shout out to the Highlands Bluebirds?
Oh, yeah.
While all this was going on, they were the champions of the St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Look at me work that, Fred. 9th region tournament, right? First time they won the region since 2001. Now, think about this.
Okay.
So then you advance to the Sweet 16, which I would tell you the Kentucky high school basketball tournament, and from living in Louisville, it's at Rupp Arena in Lexington, it's got to be one of the most revered in the country. I mean, you get down there, you start on a Wednesday, they end on a Saturday. It's still the dumbest damn thing ever. They play the semifinals and final on the same day. I've never understood that, but they do. Highlands won 4 straight games by 28, 10, 16, and 19.
Wow.
They finished 30-4, 21 straight wins. They've won 23 football state championships, second only to your alma mater, Louisville Trinity. I lost count. I think they're at 26. 26. First ever in basketball. Congrats to Kevin Listerman and their senior guard, Sam Vincent, who was named the Sweet 16 MVP. He also, Fred, made the ESPN Sports Center top plays.
Nice. How about that?
It was in the first round, and they did a cool thing where a guy had a breakaway, and they bounced it off the backboard to him, and he came in. It was number 9 last Thursday.
That's awesome.
So, kudos to Highlands.
It's funny, too, because growing up in Louisville with Daryl Griffith and all those guys at U of L,
correct,
those were things that they did a lot. And you don't see that
much
anymore where you feed it off the board to somebody to come in for the jam.
You better make it. Now it was in the fourth quarter of a game where they had a decent sized lead, and then you've got that like in high school. Are you demeaning the opponent and all that? Who
cares?
Right?
Who cares?
Now, have you ever gone to the Sweet 16 in Kentucky?
No, I have not.
Because
high school,
it apparently, and obviously, there's pandemic protocol. But I'm telling you, man, back in the day, I know guys who would go down there, and it would be fun. They go to every game, and then they would go out and see if they could get it to the next day and all that kind of stuff.
So they could make it to the next round.
Yes, they were challenged as much as the teams winning the game. That's correct.
No, but it is great. I mean, again, you know better than anybody I've ever met what high school sports means to this region, and to have that level of competition in every sport.
Right.
I mean, really, it's pretty remarkable. So it's I think that's a great shout out and a great way to wrap up the tournament. So again, congratulations. That was my little bluebird, by the way.
That's your bluebird? Huh? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Dixie Heights will represent. See, they do the boys first and the girls next, and sometimes they flip it.
Okay.
I just thought I'd let you know. I know. Come on out. Did you watch the women's final last night?
No. After Louisville lost in the got
a little bitter.
I didn't feel like watching.
Well, I'll tell you,
they just pissed it away. They had it, and they pissed it away. But let me tell you,
you know who's really kicking is UConn. They were the best team, and then they poo-pooed against Arizona. Well, they did, but I didn't watch the Arizona game. You're right, I did. But I got to be honest with you, I like Gino because it just irritates all the women.
And I'll be honest with you, I forget her name. The coach for Arizona, apparently after the game,
Arizona coach, I think was her name.
Arizona coach. Yeah. Coach, I think, isn't her name?
Wildcat coach.
She was in there, and apparently the camera caught her flipping the middle finger and saying clearly the word that goes with that about they didn't believe they could. Nobody believed they could be there
after the UConn game. Wow!
And they got and the camera caught it, and everybody's wanting her to apologize. She goes, I'm not apologizing. That wasn't for you guys to see anyway, and I'm not apologizing anyway. Good for her. F all of them.
I agree.
Quit apologizing. Right. Everybody just stop apologizing.
I'm with you.
Because you don't mean it, so don't say it. If you don't mean it, don't say it. And don't do this apology. I'm sorry if you were offended. I'm sorry if you...
Right.
It doesn't matter if you were offended. Who cares?
Right.
Grow a thicker skin. God. Oh, she needs to apologize. No, she doesn't.
And you wonder why your blood pressure's high.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about pills here in a moment.
Are we?
Yes, we are. That's going to be an extra. We do have extra editions, by the way. This is Gamble and Finn, Larger Than Life. Doing a little shorter show now so that we can throw some extra 4 or 5 minute segments out on our YouTube channel, Gamble, Capital N Finn. You may already be here watching this. Make sure you subscribe down below my left knee, and we'll make sure that we provide as much content as we can for you.
Plans for me to you later tonight is as soon as the game ends and Gonzaga wins, I'll be calling you so we can watch one shining moment together.
Oh, okay.
Just so we can hear the
FaceTime?
epic. We can't. Oh, in fact, I forgot about that. Yeah, well, I can't. Someone will for me, so we can sit there and look at each other as we listen to Jim Nance.
Oh my God! And then we get to dovetail right into his hypnotic call of the Masters.
Right.
I tell you what, I had just about enough of Nance, but these new Capital One commercials have regenerated my interest in him, and I think he gets it now. He's not going to allow himself to become that guy.
I have to be honest with you. He is too much for me at the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
It's too much of a slurp fest. Yeah. I can't stand the Masters. Like, come on. I mean, there's a lot of wrong with that club, too.
Well, and we'll talk. Well, hell, I was going to say we'll talk about that next week before the Masters, but that's this week. Okay, so the over/under on the number of times we have to hear about Tiger Woods, even though he's not going to be there.
You know what we should do? We should count that. We should play a game over/under.
The over/under is 1,000, and I'll take the over.
Can I give one other thought while we're on the subject of television?
Yes.
And I'm not going to tell you because I have a relationship with these people, but I would just tell you if you're calling play-by-play or you're doing TV of a sporting event, it's okay to let the picture tell the story. Yeah. Stop talking.
Yeah, I know that's ironic.
God almighty. Do you know what I'm referencing?
No, but it could be anything.
Well, I'll stay tuned. At a future episode, I'll clue you in.
Oh, yes, I do know. Actually, now that you mention it. And also, to certain networks, just because someone has a name doesn't mean anybody wants to hear what they have to say.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about as well.
I don't know what I do there.
So let's.
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
It's only a short stop away from where I'm going with that. Okay. All right, so we've reset now. We've done all of the technical things that we're supposed to do. Right. I want to ask your question because I traveled over the weekend.
Man, you're turning.
Wait. Before we do this, your call. What's the score tonight? Final score.
Bad with scores. I think it'll be close. I think Gonzaga wins by 7 or 8. Ultimately, I think it'll be really close, and they'll stretch it a bit at the end.
Baylor by 4.
Okay.
All right. Overtime or regulation?
We're going regulation. They're fatigued.
All right. You say 6-7. I say Baylor by 4. Okay. Very good. So I traveled over the weekend.
You're turning into quite the little traveler.
Well, it's weird. It's all come at one time, but again, everywhere I go has a different set of COVID protocols. Right. But the common thing is still typically the mask. And again, we say I wear the mask for you. I'm not wearing it because I enjoy it. I'm wearing it for you. If you're not wearing yours, then that tells me immediately what you think.
You traveled to a prison.
I did. I went and visited Cell Block P. I went into. I stopped on my way. Because speaking of pee, my prostate is the size of a pineapple, so I have to pee every 8 minutes.
And there aren't many rest stops anymore.
Well, no, but I stopped into one of those Flying J's or whatever. So while I'm in there getting my payday bar, a big thing of water, and
well, that's why you have to keep urinating. Stop the big thing of water.
I have to have that to hydrate. Taking a leak, I'm listening to them call for any trucker that wants a shower. But I go in and I go into this restroom and this was everything I needed to know. This whole mask up and make sure you do this and we're cleaning and we're doing and all.
Well, they're not at the Flying J.
They're not
Fred.
doing it anywhere, Fred. I'll tell you about the hotel when I get done with this. There was a guy in there taking an earth-shattering dump. I mean, it was you were aware of it when you pulled into the parking lot.
Was it urinal and then one stall?
No, I was on the other. There was like one of these ones where you go in and there's urinals over here, and this guy was over here, creating a new universe.
There was a partition.
Yeah, he was in a stall. He wasn't doing it in the urinal, but he was over there. I walked in.
Sometimes you go in those and there's just a toilet.
This is huge. This is huge. This is a big one. But I walked in and I was like dizzy from the fumes. And so I happened to finish my business on the one side, and he finished his on the deuce.
Were there sounds?
And we ended up working our way toward the, there were sounds. It was multimedia. We worked our way to the sinks at the same time. Ooh. And as I went to go to the sink, he just veered off and went straight back out.
Yeah,
Didn't touch water, didn't touch soap, and his camo pants and his gut out to here and his hat, his big fish hooks in his hat. I'm like, oh my God. And now he's out touching the food, the different candy bars and all this shit. And his wife, I mean, honestly, they were twins. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But I'm like, that guy exists everywhere.
Right. Well, that's
you're not safe from that guy.
I love it when you go into a restaurant's restroom and they have the sign reminding their employees to please wash hands.
Yeah.
Again, if you're look, you know me, I'm like Howard Hughes. For those who are too young to know Howard Hughes, look it up. He used to sit nude in a big pile of Kleenex because he was afraid of germs.
Germaphobe.
He was a germaphobe. I have been washing hands and doing what you should be, but that's me. That's to me, that's hygiene.
Right. That's general hygiene. And that's the thing. Now, so then I get to the hotel and you got to stand here and put your card and wear your mask and doobly blah blah. And they've got little like seals on the room. So when you open your door, it cracks the seal and all that. And they've spent more money, honestly, printing signs and bullshit stickers and things like that than they are actually clean. Because the thing is, if I wanted my room cleaned, I had to ask for it. It wasn't like, don't tell us not to. You have to ask if you want it cleaned. I'm like, you just.
Now that's if you're staying maybe
multiple
than one
days,
night.
which I was. So I said, just leave me alone and whatever. But I get in, and this was everything I needed to know. I'm being told about all of these these procedures and this and that. And I look up, and the elevator door shuts, and it's that brushed stainless steel.
Yep.
And I see, this is what I see. Whoop. One wipe mark. And so it was clearly done with dirty whatever, a dirty rag.
Yep.
And it showed me what they had done, which was nothing. Whoop. And I'm supposed to go, man, I can't wait to get into the bed.
One of my favorite is how everybody now has the sanitizing little stations.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're empty.
Yeah.
I mean, so if it's one of those things like literally where I teach, won't mention the name, I go up right after I get a soda. I'm like, oh, okay, there's none in there. I mean, but they're telling you can't do this, you can't do that. And then when I go to use something designed to help prevent all this, not there.
Well, but besides Thunder Dump, that guy, and then this, and then they had breakfast is a little different now. It's grab and go. It's not the hot breakfast thing. I'm like, that's fine. I'm not going to eat those eggs anyway. But they had like individually wrapped muffins or bagels, and then all the the butter and the individually wrapped plasticware, and then a paper bag, so you could ostensibly take your little paper bag, fill your stuff, and then you go up to your room.
Very safe.
So absolutely, until you get behind this guy.
Oh yeah.
He touched everything on the table. Touched it all.
And you could clearly see it, right?
Everything was the same. So I don't know what he was looking at. He picked up every yogurt, every cranberry juice thing, every orange juice thing.
Muffin.
Every one. He touched everything on the table. And I'm standing behind him going, are you kidding me, son? Come on now.
Here's the bottom line. At the end of all this, what you can't change is the one variable, people.
People are stupid.
Well, people. I mean, you can post however many signs, you can give however many messages. People are going to do what they've always done.
Yeah.
And I guess if there is a good out of this, you hope that some places will continue cleaning some. Will continue cleaning beyond what they did previously, which is what they should have been doing all along.
Right.
Anyway.
But cleaning with a dirty rag is not cleaning.
That's not
so
cleaning,
there's that. And doing this isn't cleaning. And pretending just because you've posted signs that you're clean, don't fall for that. And the whole thing. I mean, look, again, since the very beginning of this, what has this been? It's been instructions to us like we're infants. Don't put your hands in your mouth. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer, and don't touch, that kind of thing. They're still giving us the same things. Just do that stuff anyway.
Aren't the air dryers supposed to, in theory, be worse? So
they're worse.
So when I go to a place and that's all they have, that irritates me, because you know me, I'm the one who will take and this is probably a little
Oh,
overboard.
no, the paper towel?
I take the paper towel. Well, I'll even take the napkin from my table if it's a new place, anticipating that they won't have paper towels in the restaurant.
And then use that to open the
use
door
that to open
and
the
then
door.
throw it away.
Well, because of Thunder Dump as an example. I mean, that guy touched the handle. I don't want to touch that.
But it
That's
was
gross.
one of those ones were open where you didn't have to. There was no door, so there was at least I didn't have to touch anything
that's not
after
the
that.
point.
But he was out there touching who knows what in the cooler. So anyway, you're right. People are gonna, and that was my whole point. All of this is a dog and pony show.
It is.
You should already, and the people that don't practice that kind of basic hygiene aren't ever going to. So protect yourself and do the best that you can. Oh man, I'm glad I got to get that off.
But remember now, if you don't like the visual piece here, if you're tired of looking at us, you can listen to us on a podcast. Yep. You don't have to watch. You can just listen.
You know, iTunes begged us to include this in their podcast.
Yes, they did. We relented initially, but now we've agreed finally. So you can, anywhere you get your podcasts, as I like to say, maybe you too.
That's not really true.
Well, close.
The one place where you'd expect it to be.
Right. Well, there you go. And
we did.
We're going to have some mystery podcasts coming up.
Yeah, we are. It'll be, well, they're a mystery to us even at this point. But we had a seance with Steve Jobs. He begged us. So we said, okay, iTunes, you can have this podcast. And it really isn't even a podcast as much as it is an audio replay of the show.
Yeah, that's exactly what
because
it is.
It's,
so if you don't want to watch, you can listen
you
only.
Can listen.
It's okay.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Anyway, so let's get to the extras.
Let's do.
We'll wrap this bad boy up. It's season 2, episode 9. We may be looking at a spring break episode.
We might
here in the coming week because, we need a
spring break
as well. Season 2, episode 9 is over, and we're going to wrap this up. Thanks to you guys for checking it out.
Absolutely.
Check us out on the custom YouTube channel, Gamble Capital N Fin. Subscribe and share, and we would appreciate that. We'll wrap.
Go
this
Zags!
Go Bears!
Go Zags!
Go Bears!
Come on, Timmy. Give me another mustache, please.
Oh God, he's Gamble. I'm Finn,
and we are out.